Family was the cornerstone of medieval society, and children's roles within the family varied significantly based on their social class. In peasant families, children were seen as essential laborers from a young age. They were expected to contribute to the household economy by performing chores, assisting in the fields and caring for younger siblings. The concept of childhood as a distinct phase of life was not well established. Children were considered miniature adults who needed to prepare for adult responsibilities. In contrast, children from noble families experienced a different upbringing. They were often sent away from home at a young age to serve as pages in other noble households. This practice was part of their training for knighthood or courtly roles. Boys learned the skills necessary for warfare and governance, while girls were trained in domestic arts and social etiquette. The separation from their families was intended to instill discipline and loyalty to their feudal lords. Education in the medieval period was largely determined by social class and gender. For peasant children, formal education was rare. Their learning was practical and oriented towards the skills needed for farming and household management. Oral traditions and practical demonstrations by parents and elders were the primary modes of education. Noble children, however, had greater access to formal education. Boys were often taught to read and write, as well as to understand Latin, the language of the church, and scholarship. Their education was overseen by tutors or conducted in monasteries and cathedral schools. Girls from noble families received education in managing households, embroidery, music, and sometimes basic literacy. The church played a pivotal role in the education of medieval children. Monastic schools provided education for boys who might become monks or clerics. These institutions emphasized religious instruction, reading, writing, and sometimes arithmetic. For children with exceptional intellectual abilities, further education at universities was possible, though this was mostly reserved for boys. Work was an integral part of life for medieval children, especially those from peasant families. From a young age, children were expected to help with agricultural tasks, tend animals, gather firewood, and perform household chores. This labor was crucial for the survival of the family. The work was often hard and demanding, leaving little time for leisure. Despite their heavy workloads, children did find time to play. Archaeological evidence and historical records suggest that medieval children played with a variety of toys, including dolls, miniature weapons, and board games. Outdoor activities such as running, wrestling, and ball games were also common. These games and toys often mirrored adult activities, serving as a form of informal education and socialization. Religion was a fundamental aspect of life in the medieval period, and it profoundly influenced the upbringing of children. The church dictated many aspects of daily life, including moral education and social norms. Children were baptized shortly after birth, marking their formal entry into the Christian community. Religious instruction was a key component of their upbringing, with children learning prayers, hymns, and religious stories from a young age. Saints and biblical figures served as role models for medieval children. Stories of saints' lives were popular, and children were encouraged to emulate their virtues. Festivals and religious holidays provided opportunities for communal celebrations and religious observance, reinforcing a sense of community and shared beliefs. The health of medieval children was precarious, with high mortality rates being a grim reality. Diseases, poor nutrition, and lack of medical knowledge contributed to a high incidence of infant and child mortality. The Black Death, which swept through Europe in the 14th century, had a devastating impact on children, decimating populations and leaving many families bereaved. Despite these challenges, there were efforts to care for and protect children. Midwives played a crucial role in childbirth and early childcare, using traditional knowledge and remedies. Charitable institutions, such as orphanages and hospitals, provided care for abandoned and sick children. The Church also advocated for the protection of children, emphasizing their innocence and the need for compassion. The legal status of children in medieval society was closely tied to their family's social standing. Children had limited legal rights and were under the authority of their parents or guardians. However, the concept of age of majority marked the transition to adulthood, at which point young people could assume legal responsibilities and rights. In noble families, children's marriages were often arranged to forge alliances and secure property. These arrangements were strategic, with children's interests secondary to the family's ambitions. Conversely, peasant children had more autonomy in choosing their partners, though economic considerations still played a significant role. The lives of medieval children were shaped by a complex interplay of social, economic, cultural, and religious factors. While their experiences varied widely based on their social class and gender, common themes of labor, education, and religious influence were prevalent. The notion of childhood was markedly different from modern conceptions, with children seen as integral contributors to the family and community from a young age. Despite the harsh realities of their lives, including high mortality rates and demanding labor, medieval children found ways to learn, play, and grow within the structures of their society. Their stories provide valuable insights into the broader dynamics of medieval life and the enduring resilience of human communities.